Hey everybody, it's Mr. Freisinger again. Today we're going to talk about making a drum set out of pots and pans and buckets and boxes and all kinds of stuff you can find around the house. Now a drum set or a trap set or a drum kit or just drums, whatever you want to call it, is really not one instrument but many instruments. It started when marching bands wanted to play inside and there just wasn't room for half the musicians to be drummers on stage. So they found a way to have one drummer, one percussionist play several different instruments. Bass drum, snare drum, tenor drums, all kinds of drums. So it all starts with the bass. Now on a drum set, keep our hands free to play snare and cymbals and other drums. So use a right foot to play the bass drum. I'm going to use this big old box filled with some shredded paper and other things to be my bass drum. It kind of sounds like it. It's got a little hole in it to give it a little more resonance, a little more sound. But yeah, if you can find a cardboard box, fill it with some fluffy stuff, some loose paper, it can have that sound. Now in order to make that sound, I suppose we could kick it, but it'd be a lot easier if we have a drum pedal. Drum pedal needs a hammer. Made this little hammer out of Easter egg and a rolled up piece of paper. You can make it out of whatever you want, just as long as it's lightweight enough so when you put down your foot it can go. Okay, so I'm going to tape this Easter egg to this rolled up piece of paper that kind of looks like a straw. Alright, now I got my hammer. Now, how do I make the hammer go from here to there? I'm going to make the pedal out of some cardboard. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm not going to push down too hard because I want it to come up like that. Okay? Now I'm going to tape my hammer to the top of the cardboard. So when it comes down, the hammer is going to come over with it. Try it out. Okay, sounds like a drum kind of to me. So as long as I got that thud, boomy sound, I'm ready to go there. Now the other sounds on the drum set are more difficult to produce than a bass drum. Cymbals are big round pans made out of metal. All I have that's close to that is pans and spoons. So while I'm playing the bass drum with my left foot, I'm going to play what's called a hi-hat with my left foot. Hi-hat is the two cymbals that come down and they go. I'm going to tape the spoon down on this side, and I'm going to tape the spoon down on this side, so when they come together, sound like that. I'm going to put this on top of a book, because the spoon is going to kind of fall off the edge of the book, so it's not touching the ground. Okay, that works better. Alright, so I got my bass. And I got my hi-hat. Okay. What other things go inside a drum set? Well, you got a snare drum is very important. In order to get a sound, you got some kind of paper mache type paper. You got a plastic bag, and just putting that over a bucket, a plastic container, Tupperware container. Again, it doesn't sound exactly like a snare, but it approximates it. Now, for the rest of the drums in a drum set are called toms, and they're the only ones that actually have a note. The smaller toms have a higher note, and the lower toms, called floor toms, because they sit on the floor instead of on a stand. They're the lowest drums, and they're quite big, almost as big as a bass drum. Now, coffee cans work good, ice cream buckets, but again, any kind of Tupperware or plastic bucket kind of container works pretty good. Okay, what I'm playing with here, chopsticks. Chopsticks work pretty well for drumsticks. Pencils are also good. Now the tip of the pencil looks more like the tip of a drumstick, but actually the eraser, because it's rubber, bounces more like the tip of a drum set. So you can use either one. I would probably use the eraser part. Okay, so we got our bass, we got our hi-hat, we got our snare, and we got our toms. Only thing left is cymbals, that or kind of sound, but do have pans, at least make a cowbell sound, and a glass bottle of vinegar, and that'll be our cymbals. Now, let's try some basic rhythms on each of these instruments. How about ta, ta, ti, ti, ta? Try with the bass first. Okay. How about the hi-hat? Snare? Toms? Maybe I'll just go in between them. Or the cymbals. Okay. How about ti, 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 ta, rest? Ti, 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 ta, rest. Let's make it a little more complicated. Ta, ti, ti, ta, ti, ti. We start with ta on the bass, and then snare, and then bass and snare. Ta. Ta. Okay. Those are just some basic rhythms that we do every day in music class. But how about some rhythms that drum set players often do play? On the bass, 4 to the floor. The bass drum is on the floor, and you just count 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. So start with that, and then we'll play snare drum with the left hand, and rest rest, ta, rest, ta. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, rest, rest, rest. Okay? That needs a little something else. Need to add some cymbals. Okay? Let's try with the pans. Now this type of cymbal, which doesn't have a long kind of ding sound, could be called a ride. It's usually very big, and you just kind of ride on it, as in you keep playing it. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so tried with quarter notes. How about eighth notes? T, 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 T. Toms, often used for what's called fills. So like a drum break, a drum solo, common simple one. T T T T T T T T T T T T. So you're going from the high tom T T T T down to the middle tom top T T T T down to the floor tom T T T T. Let's try one last rhythm. The bass is gonna go ta, rest, rest, ta, ta, rest, rest, ta, ta, rest, rest, ta, ta, rest, rest, ta. The snare is gonna go just like before, rest, ta, rest, ta, rest, ta, rest, ta, ta. Okay, need a little something else, so let's add some cymbals. Okay, go back to our T, 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 T. You can take that same rhythm, and instead of just going T, 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 T all the time, you can take your left hand and come up and do a few triplets, like T, 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 triplet, T, 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 triplet, T, T. Okay, try it. Okay, you can arrange your drum set however you want. It's best if it's right around you, just like a semicircle table. So you can go around like this, and you don't have to reach too far this way or that way. Make sure you ask an adult if you can use their pans or buckets or other utensils. And have a great time trying it. See you guys later.